So bro, this is actually what I eat after a workout. I finished like 30 minutes ago. I had an upper session and I'm so hungry. One thing I want you to know is that you have to, maximize the carbs intake like before and after your workout. Yeah, so you can restore the glycogen, sources inside your muscles. So today, what we have right here, we got an entire sweet potatoes, and I'm gonna put it right here. Why I cook the sweet potatoes in this way? Because I don't lose all the vitamins and all the nutrients inside the sweet potatoes. And why I prefer eating sweet potatoes than everything else, because sweet potatoes is actually full of fiber, and fiber mitigate your insulin spikes. You won't have brain fog after eating this carb source. You won't feel bloated. Then bro, you already know we have about 400 grams of steak. This is grass-fed. Why I prefer steak, you already know. It's full of nutrients, B12 vitamin, taurine, full of micronutrients. Yeah, it's so freaking good. Full of creatine. So I'm about to destroy this meal, and I actually have a surprise for you. I designed with the mirror a small lesson for you to know how to eat during the day. So one thing I want you to know is that I will not, make a meal plan, but I will teach you how to eat carbs, protein, and fats, so you can maximize their absorption and their, effectiveness. So this is my meal. I'm gonna destroy this. Pay attention and take notes. Yeah, bro, this is the best meal you have to eat every day to get shredded and to get muscular. So, here we are in the new video. As I said before, this will actually be an important video for you. So, as I say in every video, take a piece of paper, take a pen, and take some notes, and copy or just implement in your daily routine what I'm about to tell you. So in this video, we'll talk about the timing. So how to timing your macros, so carbs, protein, and fats for optimal gains, optimal recovery, and optimal energy. So in this way, you will be 100% more performing than ever. So first of all, I just wanted to put here the food sources I use daily. So carb sources, we got some raw honey, we got some organic basmati rice. I prefer organic rice because it has less heavy metals. We also got some raw milk. You have to understand that raw milk is the complete food. It has fats, it has protein, and it has carbs, of course. We got every type of fruit. Of course, it depends if you are a cat or a bulk. There are some, fruit type of fruits that are more calorie dense and that have more carbohydrates. But in general, all types of fruit are great for you because fruit is full of fibers, polyphenols, and vitamin C. So the fructose won't be converted in fat from the liver because the conversion will be inhibited from the vitamin C inside the fruit. And then we got some sweet potatoes. Also, I think one of the best carb sources of ever because it has a lot of insoluble fibers which are good for move your gut and move your poo, which of course are great for your gut and great for your mobility. Then we got the protein. For protein, of course, I prefer ground beef, steak, so red meat, and we got some beef liver. Of course, seafood. This is an image, but of course, wild caught salmon and every type of fish out there is incredibly good. But you have to go, a little bit low on tuna because it's full of heavy metals. And we got raw milk for protein, of course, eggs, one of the most nutrient dense food in the world, full of choline, full of saturated fats, cholesterol, protein. Everything you need is inside the eggs. And then, for example, some raw cheese, great source of calcium, and of course, protein and fats, as we see right here. There is the chicken, but I prefer steak, grass-fed steak instead of chicken, because chicken is, 99% of times is not pasteurized. But if you find pasteurized chicken, that will be good for you. But I prefer red meat because it's full of micronutrients. So it's full of B vitamins, so B12 vitamins, taurine. Then we got, some creatine and other micronutrients that are actually important for you, and also full of saturated fats, which are important for your hormones. And then fats, you can have, of course, avocados. I talked about in my reels about magnesium maxing. We'll talk about it later. Of course, raw milk again. Some organic olive oil. It has to be, eat raw. Don't cook with olive oil. Cook with some beef tallow of butter or butter, because it's better for you. Yeah, of course, we got butter and some nuts. Nuts are full of omega-3s, but just stick to nuts. Do not eat those bullshits. Just stick to nuts and you'll be fine. Then, before talking about the macros timing, I just want to talk to you about the carbs. You have to understand these two concepts right here to actually understand this. So, fruit and honey are perfect as pre-workout, optimal to replenish your muscles of glycogen of also after a workout. As I said before, full of soluble fermentable fibers, optimal for gut microbiome and SCFA production. They will give you energy. And also we got here, basmati rice, potatoes, perfect for big meals. Sweet potatoes are actually full of insoluble fibers, as I said before. And of course, these are not inflammatory carb sources. As I say every time, I don't know, eat pasta and grains because it's proven by science that they are inflammatory. But I can, talk about my experience. They were inflaming me myself. I was full of acne where I was, bulking with those shitty grains. So don't eat grains for at least 3 days and then come back to me and tell me how do you feel. So first of all, you have to understand that, you know, you have to eat carbs. So do not do the bullshit, carnivores and ketos. You have to eat carbs because eating carbs, you have lower cortisol levels and you will have more energies. Of course, protein to build muscles. So minimum 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And always, as I said before, choose bioavailable source of protein, full of micronutrients and essential amino acids. And then, of course, fats. Especially if you're in a cat, you have to keep your fats really high. I stay on about 100, 120 grams of fat a day because I follow an animal-based diet. Of course, they help you regulate your hormones, so your testosterone, essential for your brain, your cells, your focus and mood. And of course, you have to maximize your omega-3 intake rather than omega-6 intake. So omega-6 are important for you, but omega-3 have to be more than omega-6. This to avoid, of course, inflammation. So here now we can talk about the macros timing for optimal recovery, focus, and performances. First of all, One thing you have to understand is that your macro timing should be adjusted around your workout. The workout, like, is freaking important for your macros timing throughout the day. Of course, the calories intake during the day is important, but if you time your macros, you'll be able to get 100% of the benefits and from the food for your performances and for your aesthetics. So, first of all, I have an example right here. If you train in the morning, do not train fasted, or if you want to train fasted, you make sure that in the evening before you hit a huge meal. Because if you train fasted and with low energy, I can guarantee you that you will have low energies, especially if you're not used to, training fasted. You can have some honey and salt like 20 minutes before your workout as a pre-workout, or if you have so more time, you can have a high protein and high carb meal at least 1 hour before. I do not recommend you to eat a lot of fats before your morning lift, because uh you know they are because they take longer to digest, so you could have them during the day. If you train post lunch, I can tell you that you, especially if you fast in the morning, you must have a very nutritious, nutrient dense big meal where you eat fats, protein, and carbs. So high carbs, high fats, high protein. At least you have to eat 2 hours before your workout, because you don't want to go to lift weights during your digestion. And after the big meal, you can have on and salt 30 minutes before. I always have my on and salt before. It gives me a big juicy pump. And then if you train in the evening, you of course can have one or two meal before your workout, especially if you don't fast in the morning. So breakfast and then lunch. And if you train in the evening, so you have like more time, you can eat a bowl of fresh fruit before the workout. As I said before, fruit is a fast digestive carbs, so you will have enough time to digest them, and they will give you much more pump. And of course, when you eat fruit, of course, you have to take some salt, because sodium is so freaking important for your pump. So, as I said before, these are strategic moves to keep your muscles and body full of nutrients and energy when you, of course, have your workout. As I said before, total calories matter, but macros timing matters. I think it matters, of course, more. I also have a small tip for you, especially if you have problems sleeping at night. So, if you have poor sleep, of course, first thing is to eliminate blue lights at least an hour before you sleep. So you can stick to red lights, or red lens, glasses. You can have a walk to lower down the cortisol, but if you wanna sleep like a baby, I recommend you to eat the most amount of of your daily carbs before bed. So of course, you can eat less carbs during the day and eat more carbs before bed. And of course, you have to magnesium max. So eat tons of avocados, especially before bed, because actually magnesium, I think that is one of the most important supplements out there, especially when we talk about supplements. I think that the best supplements out there is creatine, and then we got magnesium, and then you'll be fine. You don't need protein powders and other shits, because magnesium will help you relax faster and recover faster. So yeah, this is this was actually the presentation I have right here. Uh, this is pretty much everything. Stick to these strategies, and I can guarantee you that you will have more benefits, especially when it comes to choosing your carb sources. So fruit, raw honey, basmati rice, sweet potatoes, raw milk. Yeah, these are the best source optimal for your gut function and your performances. So you won't have brain fog and bloating that are typical in a Western diet. So I'll see you in the next video where I will give you, more values. I will try to make, more vlogs to actually make you understand how I live during the day. But yeah, this is pretty much everything.